Okay, we're going to talk about whether you want to choose a revolver or automatic, and what's the pros of. So I forgot to turn my little screen so I can see what the hell's going on here. Hang on. Stupid camera. That way at least I can tell when I'm showing the picture that you guys can see it. What should you use, whether you should choose a automatic or a revolver? And again, one of the critical things you want to do before you get a gun is what are you going to use it for? If I'm going to buy a gun just to keep sitting beside my bed in a box or locked in my closet, and I want to keep it loaded, well, a revolver, you don't put any attention. When this gun is loaded or unloaded, nothing changes. When I slide rounds in here and close this gun sits the exact same way. There's no tension on anything. The only tension on this gun comes when I pull the trigger. So there's nothing like weighting or pressure. So this gun I can load this sucker and set it away, put rounds in here and set it, and as long as it's dry and the moisture don't get in the rounds and the rounds still work, I can pull it out a year later, squeeze the trigger, and it's going to go off. Revolvers are very reliable. They're simple, they're less moving parts. A revolver with no hammer is even less moving parts, because then you ain't got to worry about it. But you lose the ability, you got to squeeze double action every time you squeeze a round off. A revolver that's double action, this is a bigger gun. Both these guns shoot the exact same round, the 357 Magnums. Okay? When you're choosing a gun, everybody will always, especially women, they want to buy smaller guns. They like the line mill. They like the little 380s. They like the guns that don't kick as much. I really wish you would get out of that mindset, because I want a round that's going to do damage and do the most damage when I have to shoot. And when you fire this gun in a crisis to save your life, you're not going to know whether you're shooting the biggest handgun there is or if you're shooting a little gun. Now, you'll know it when you go practice at the range. You'll know it when you buy ammo because it costs more, but you won't know it in a crisis. So when I buy a gun, I buy it for if I have to shoot somebody, I want bigger is better. And we'll talk about that in bullets more. I want a bigger round and I want faster. Faster and bigger. Same, I want big and fast on my bullets. So, this gun is heavier, but they shoot the same round. Guess which one kicks more? Well, hopefully you said this one. Because this one, because it's heavier, is going to absorb that cushion, the velocity, the explosion, all that force. Well, all force is equal opposite reaction. So when the bullet comes out, that force has to go back somehow. Well, guess what? It's going to be, your arm is going to have to take a lot more force in your hand on this little gun than on this bigger gun. You want a gun to kick less? Get the biggest, heaviest gun you can get, and that gun's not going to kick very good. That's not going to kick near as gun. You want a gun that kicks a lot? You get the smallest, lightest. This is featherweight titanium. This thing weighs ounces. I don't know. It's pretty light. I can carry it in my ankle and I don't even know it's there. This gun kicks like a bandit. I've had a lot of cops shoot this gun and they don't grip it tight enough and it ends up cutting their hand, or they're like, holy ow, it hurt. Grip is very important on a gun. You want it, but see, in a crisis, you're not going to have to worry about grip, because you're going to be nervous and scared, and that hand's going to come out and you're going to be squeezing that grip for all your life. So you're not going to have to worry about grip. But when you're training your body, you want to focus on grip. I could hold this gun with a light grip and it's not going to kick or jump out of my hand as much as this gun, even though they shoot the same bullet. So the size of the gun doesn't matter unless you realize that a smaller, lighter gun is going to kick more than a bigger, heavier gun. If this, I've got a 6-inch Python in the safe. I didn't pull it out, but if I had my Python out here, the barrel's this long, that's a lot of extra weight. It kicks even less because it's heavier. It absorbs some of that bullet explosion so my hand doesn't take it. This little thing with this little barrel, 2-inch barrel, this 4-inch barrel, tells this little thing kicks like a bandit. But in a crisis, if I shove this in your neck or shove it in your gut and I'm about fighting for my life, I ain't going to feel any kick. All I'm doing is getting around in you. I want to stop your aggressive attack. I want to stop you from wanting to attack me. I want to stop you from hurting me. And this, in the neck or in the belly, believe me, with a 37 round, if it doesn't stop them with the bullet, it's going to set them on fire. Because I'll try and do a video at night of a 357 fire and you'll see the big flame come out 6-8 feet in front of it. So, semi-automatics. Semi-automatics tend to be a little bit heavier. They're making them lighter. The bottom part's alloy. The top part's always going to be steel and hard, and that's where your weight's at. Semi-automatics tend to, I think, absorb the bullet a little bit better. Why? Because when you fire a semi-automatic, I'm going to let the slide go. Okay, how did I let that slide go? I did it with a slide lock. I shouldn't have done it that way. How I should have let the slide go is like I train. You train like you do it. If I'm going to let the slide go, I'm going to pull it back and let it go forward, and then it's going to release it. So, when you fire this gun, the problem is this slide comes back, and this is where a lot of people get nervous, especially if some dummy sets somebody up who's never fired one of these and they don't tell them and let them get hurt. This slide comes back, and as it comes back, if my hand is up here and it slides back, it's going to hurt and it's going to tear my hand. They put a thumb strap or a back strap right here for your hand to fit in. The problem is when people do a two-handed grip, they put that thumb on top. Not a good way. Thumb should be either pointed straight ahead, crossed, side by side. Some are putting them on the slide right now. We'll go over grip later. But the big thing about a semi-automatic is you have to understand when you fire this gun, this slide is coming back with a lot of force, and when it comes back, anything in its way is going to get cut or pushed. Okay? So if I fired a gun right here at my face, when this thing comes back, guess what? I'm going to get a slide in the face. If I shoot it like this because I don't know what I'm doing, I want to see the sights, it's going to hit me in the nose. So guns are mechanical things. If they hurt you, you did it wrong. Okay? So realize when you're choosing a gun, most people like semi-automatics. They're slimmer. You notice the big old slide here on this gun? It's a little bit harder to conceal, a little bit harder to set. This is a little bit slimmer. So because it's slimmer, it's easier to conceal, it's easier to carry, it's not as bulky. Revolvers tend to be bulky. So are you going to be carrying it, or are you going to be set it in your bedroom? If you're going to be set in your bedroom, revolver's nice. If you're going to carry it in your purse, I'd carry a revolver with an enclosed hammer so I could keep my gun. If I was a woman going to the bank at night or going in a neighborhood, or I see some guy following me, I would want my hand on my gun in my purse and I would just keep it in there. Somebody tried to grab it or whatever, I could just squeeze a round off right inside the purse, and because there's no moving parts, my bullet's going to go bang, bang, bang. And the bullets are going to come out. And you know, these are great guns for purses, jackets. If you're going out for a walk, you just want to throw a gun in your pocket. It's really good. It's cold in the winter. You slide one of these in your pocket. You can have your hand on it. You can have your hand around it. But when it's there, you can shoot it from inside the pocket. You don't have to worry about pulling out, warning, maybe getting the gun taken away and giving away your advantage. Okay? Because if they have a gun, by the time you pull yours out, you're going to be shot. We're going to talk about reaction versus reaction. And action is always better than reaction. So when you react to something, you're always going to be slower, which is why cops always lose gunfights. And people are always like, man, cops, they train all the time. They can't shoot for crap. Well, no kidding. Because when a cop pulls his gun, it's after he realizes he needs it most of the time. Now, cops are getting a little bit better now. When they're walking, you see them keeping their hand on the gun. That takes away some of that lag time and that response to get that gun out. But usually, we don't know we need our gun until we need it. And by then, we're already behind the power curve. So as we're coming out, we're just shooting, spray and pray, shooting off rounds and trying to get the person to duck down, trying to get to cover. So that's why we miss. But most cops, I think the hit ratio for most cops, they did a nationwide survey, was something in the area of, I don't know, 13% is what we hit or something. Pretty low. I need to start getting me a timer so I know. So anyway, what are you going to do? I talked about in the last video about a double action. Remember I told you automatics are only single action because the hammer's back. When it's back, when I squeeze it, the hammer goes forward. I can't pull it again because I'm done. Well, now it's single action. This is what's called a double action. Clear, no magazine, nothing in the chamber. I'm going to let it go forward. Now when I pull the trigger, this is single action right now. See how loose that trigger is? When I pull it, that's single action. But now it's going to reset. Now it's double action. I got to press hard. Click. Hear that click? That's double action. So that's double action. I got pressure all the way here. This is single action. All that trigger's loose. That's called slack, or take out the slack. Now that's my trigger. Alright? So depending on what gun you're going to use it for, what do you want the gun for, that's going to determine what gun you want, whether you want a revolver or automatic. We'll be shooting both of them. I'll be showing you the different types of concealed carry, etc. and we'll move on from there. Hope that helps. Buddy, Miss T, you're good boys.